Hello, fellow artisans. My name is Shonda, and welcome to my channel, Under the Needle Quilting and Crafts. So, I think I'm getting my sojo back. It's been a while. It's been a rough ride. I don't know if you guys know, but I taught myself how to quilt a very, very, very long time ago when I was a younger person. I was 20, 21 or something like that, and I used to crochet. I had taught myself how to crochet. And at that particular time in my life, I had a young daughter, and I used to braid her hair in these little small braids, and it used to kill my hands. And then when I used to try to crochet, it used to kill, I just had a lot of hand pain. And so I had to stop crocheting, but I wanted to learn how to do something else. So I taught myself how to quilt. And then it was just something that I did occasionally. It would take me a long time to get a project done, but, I just kind of liked having it. I got me a little sewing machine from Walmart, a Brother CS6000i. I ended up selling that machine years later, but I regretted it, so I repurchased it, and I'm glad that I did. It's a great little portable machine. It's a great little starter machine, and I got it at Walmart, and I pretty much sewed periodically until my son was born in 2007. When my son was born in 2007, I did not have time to quilt anymore. I had a newborn. I was working full time. I tried it for a little while. I did. But it was a pain. So say on a Friday, maybe, right? Because I used to have no technology Fridays for my kids when they were young, until 9 p.m. I wasn't trying to kill them, I think it was at 9 or 10, something like that. But it was just during that time on Fridays, there was no TV, no phone, no laptop, no electronics, no devices, nothing like that. And my kids didn't have TVs in their room. That was another rule of mine, no TVs in your bedroom, because if you get a TV in your room, I'll never see you, right? Because everybody will just go to their room to watch TV. So we just had one. Well, I'm a parent. I had a TV in my bedroom. My husband and I had a TV in our bedroom, but there was only one TV, main TV in the house in the living room. And so we only had the one TV, but we couldn't even use that until 9 p.m. or 10, whichever it was. But what I would do is I would have to pull everything out because we were in a 3-bedroom apartment, 3 kids. So there was no spare space at all. So everything would be completely put away, invisible. And so it would take, a good 15 minutes to get everything out. Then you've got to reacclimate yourself to figure out where you left off in the project and then get started again. And it was a lot. And then I would only get to sew for maybe an hour. And I wasn't as proficient as I am now. So I would maybe only get to sew for an hour at the table with the kids. And the kids would be with me. They'd be around me. I had 3 kids at this point. And they'd be with me and they'd be watching me or reading a book or doing something like that. And I had the baby. And he was still a baby. And I would get to sew for maybe an hour. And then I have to put everything back. And it just got to be a really arduous process. And when we moved out of the apartment, we moved to a house, and I did have a table. I bought a sewing table, and my machine could go underneath. Walmart again. I still have that table. It's over there. It holds my Juki right now. But I set up the table, but I still just did not have time. I would go home. By the time I would get off work and get home from work, it would be 7 o'clock, and then I still had to cook and clean, help with homework, put kids to bed, bathe children. There just wasn't time. And so I really did not start really sewing again until my husband and I split up in 2017. And at that point, my oldest daughter wasn't living with me, and so I had a spare bedroom. And so I hooked up my sewing machine in that spare bedroom, and I started to sew. And that's really when I got back into the quilting community and YouTube, because not only was I not sewing, I wasn't even engaged in the sewing life, like YouTube communities. Like every once in a while I might check out a YouTube video, but really no. Like I didn't know a lot about the new fabrics, the new fabric designers, the new techniques. It's basically like I had to learn all over again because everything changed, right? So from when I taught myself in 98 to when I picked it back up in 2017 to 2018, these things were completely different. So I started by pulling out what I had and, and I just got back into it. I just threw myself into it. And I had hours because I was single. My kids were older at that point. I think my son was 11 or something like that, 10. So really just not needing mom. And I was like in the main part of the house, so it's the little bedroom that's off the kitchen. So I'm in the main part of the house. I'd leave the door open. My kids had access to me and I would just go in there and I'd be in there for hours all day. I had a little couch in there. Sometimes I slept in there. And I was getting used to being single. And so this was a way for me to just pass the time. Like it was literally like for my mental health. It was therapy, right? Sorry, I heard somebody in the kitchen, so I decided to shut the door because I just didn't want any noise. But it was literally for my mental health and for therapy. Like it really helped me get through a tough time. And the following year when I met Adrian, he lived in another state. So it was really just, I still had all this time on my hands. There was nobody waiting for me to go to bed. There was nobody waiting for me to watch a movie. There was nobody waiting for me, to do those things. So once I was done with my kids, so even if I spent the day hanging out with my kids, it's 8, 9 o'clock, they're going to their rooms. Mama gets to go sew. And there was nobody waiting for me to go to bed. So I could sew till 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And I'm a night owl. I could stay up. And I did. And I did a lot of sewing. I did a lot of projects. I had a really good time. And when Adrian and I moved in together, he was he worked a lot. He worked in retail. So he worked nights and weekends. And I'm off nights and weekends. So still, even though I had a significant other, I still had a lot of time alone. A ton. And then he became a general manager. And then he was really busy. Like he was almost never home. He was working 7 days a week, daggone near 10, 12 hours a day. He was never here. So I had lots of time. And I think around this time is when I started my channel. And I had so much time. But now, he's still in retail, but he has much more regular hours. He works 5 days a week, 40 hours a week. That's it. He works Tuesday through Saturday, off Sunday, Monday. And so now I just don't have as much time, right? Because he's home on Sunday. If he worked on Sunday, then that would give me a whole extra day. But he's home on Sunday. And so I kind of like to spend the day, even if we're not going anywhere, we just like to be in the same vicinity. Now, sometimes I come down here. It's not all the time. A lot of times I come down here and sew. But then, I cut it off at a certain time. Normally about 8, 9 o'clock, if I'm still down here working, I go on upstairs. Whereas before I didn't do that. I would be down here to 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night. And because he was working. And now, that he's home more, I'm trying to have a bit more balance. And I just don't have as much time to be down here sewing. And on top of all of that, I was making a lot of quilts, a lot. And to the point where this is all I was doing. All I was doing was sewing all the time. And I felt a lot of pressure to get projects done so that I could bring them on this channel and show you guys what I was working on. I tried to do sew-alongs, but nobody was doing them with me, so I stopped. But yeah, it just, and I guess after a while, at some point this year, or actually it started last year, I just started losing the desire to sew. And I think it's because I had just hit the ground so hard with it. And I like just literally, there were days when I came down in this room or my other room upstairs, and I literally spent the entire day. I'd wake up in the morning, get myself a cup of coffee, maybe scramble a couple eggs. And from morning till the wee hours of the next morning, I'd be down here just at it. And it started getting like difficult last year. And I thought it was because the year before I had made so many quilts. I think I made a gift quilt, which took some time. It got to be where like I wasn't enjoying myself, like, and I just lost the desire. And that's why I kind of like having a backup craft, because I was able to, mix in some crochet, and I was able to do that and still sew. And then when I completely lost my sojo, I just focused on crocheting, and it's been great because it's been a great palette cleanser, and I'm still doing sewing projects. I'm still doing projects. I just haven't made anything big. I've been in my small project era, is what I call it. And so I've been mostly making the projects that come in the Open Gate Quilt subscription box. Love that sub. Love it. Because it allows me to still sew some, be familiar with my machine, because you can forget how to thread your machine, you can forget how to wind your bobbin, you can forget these things and you don't use your machine for a while. And I just kind of wanted to take some time and make small stuff, so like this little scissor holder, small stuff that I can get done without any pressure, because it only takes an hour, 2 hours, maybe a day, maybe a week, but in that week, maybe it's only going to take me like 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours to complete the whole project. Whereas, a quilt, it's going to take a lot longer than that. And I've really been enjoying my time. But I have been sewing a little bit more. I've been trying. So I wanted to kind of dip my toe in the water and get back to sewing and see if I was going to have as much enjoyment as I did, back when I was doing this in, 2018, 2019, 2020. I wanted to see if I would still have that same, and it's starting to come back. And I am almost tempted to start another quilt just to see. And it's difficult because, this is the reason I say this. If I pick up one of my works in progress that I've already started, that is not going to work, right? Because I need to be excited. I need to be excited about it. I want to start a quilt, and I want it to be something new and exciting. And so I got to find something. And so I've been tossing around some ideas. I've been tossing around this idea for a little bit. What's my thing in here? Oh, wow. I've been tossing this idea around I've been wanting to do a tumbler quilt for quite some time. So I had picked a layer cake, and I thought about, maybe just cutting out this entire layer cake and then just sewing the stuff together. That was one idea. But then I'm like, is that exciting? I don't know if that's exciting. So I gotta find something that I'm excited about. And so what I started doing this weekend was I started going through my quilt patterns. I'm not done. I'm not even close to done, but I at least wanted to look at them, right? I wanted to look at the patterns and be inspired, because I don't need to buy any patterns. Lord knows I don't need to buy any, although I did. I bought 2. I bought 2 quilt patterns and 2 crochet patterns. And so I don't know if I want to make the pattern I purchased, or if I want to make an existing pattern, or if I want to make one of the patterns on my must-make bucket list. I haven't decided. But I do want to go ahead and figure that out. And then I want to go ahead and pick my fabric, and I want to go ahead and get it ironed and cut and kind of ready to go. I think it's time. Now, if y'all notice, it's Tuesday. I'm supposed to be making a video on Thursday for Thankful Thursday. I started doing Thankful Thursday because I was going through some mental health issues, and I needed to remind myself that there are things to be thankful for. What are you doing? I wanted to remind myself that there were things to be thankful for. But I've had trouble with compliance lately. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to make a video every Thursday. I'm just going to make a video. The noises, I swear. I'm just going to make a video whenever I feel like making a video. Because what happens is this. Sometimes it's a random Tuesday and my energy is good and I really want to make a video, and I can't because I got to hold it till Thursday. The thing is, when Thursday comes, it's like the end of the week. I'm a little tired. My energy's not as high, and it's a little harder for me to drill down and make that video. So I'm just going to make videos when I want to make them instead of trying to make one every Thursday. That's number one. And then number two, I am going to, I'm still going to have gratitude though, right? So I'm going to try to remember, I'm going to try to make myself a memo, like a little sticky note, and put it somewhere. So when I do make a video, they are going to be random when I feel like making them, but also they are going to be, I'm going to have a moment of gratitude, right? Because I think it's important to remember, vitamin G is important. If you don't have vitamin G, the rest of the vitamins don't work. Vitamin D, vitamin C, none of those vitamins work if you don't have gratitude. So that's what I'm going to start doing. But I'm going to show you guys the little quilty projects that I've been working on. Again, these are from the Open Gate Quilt subscription box. I have some loose threads here I need to cut. But the project from last month is almost completed. I completed the quilt top, and I got it quilted. I am a lazy quilter, so I just did some straight lines. You can kind of see here. Keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it easy. So I just now need to trim this and put the binding on. I did Frankenstein the batting for this. I had to find my batting together. It's like this tape that you use to Frankenstein your batting. Mine got something spilled on it. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to have to wash the final project. You can kind of see it right here is where I Frankenstein the batting together. But I've got enough quilting in here. I'm not worried about it coming apart. I made sure that I quilted, that's why I made sure I quilted the long way. Since the batting is Frankensteined this way, I wanted to make sure that I quilt this way so everything holds together nicely. But I do really like how this came out. It was a super easy project. Incredibly easy. And it was fun. Now, I did make a mistake. I had a miscut, which doesn't happen to me very often. I don't often miscut my fabric. I am a measure twice, cut once. I am a measure 10 times, cut once. I don't normally buy extra fabric. I normally buy the absolute minimum, so I don't have extra. And since this was like a kit, because it was in a project box, there was no extra, so I had to figure it out, and I did. But this color here was a little too small. So it took me a little bit longer to put the quilt together than I had initially anticipated, because I couldn't chain sew the way I wanted to, because I had to be mindful of the mistake that I made. So I did that. And I've also gotten together this month's project. I was just supposed to cut it out, right? So I was only supposed to cut the project out, and I wasn't supposed to do any sewing. But once I started cutting, and I saw how easy it was going to be to chain piece this project. This went together like this was quick, right? This was quick because this whole panel here is done for you, right? This is just one piece of fabric, this piece in the middle. So there's nothing, this fabric in the middle, there's no piecings, which made it really quick because you just have some squares and some strips. And then the longest part was putting together these, quarter square. It's not really a quarter square triangle, but it is kind of, right? So that was like the longest part. But once you got that done, the rest of the blanket was really done. This went together really quick as well. Like I strip pieced this thing. It was so quick. Now I did change my mind. So initially, I said that I was going to do the table topper and not the table runner. But when I went to go put it together, I ended up doing the table runner because of my batting. I did not feel like dragging out a new pack of batting. I do have some unopened batting. I did not feel like dragging that stuff out. So I had to Frankenstein my batting. And I didn't have anything that was going to work for the square. For it to be, it's supposed to be two on top, 2 blocks on top, 2 blocks on bottom. It just would have been, I didn't have anything that was going to work for that, really. It was just going to be easier to do it like this. So that's what I did. So this batting is Frankensteined also. It's raggedy and jagged and cut, but you can see I Frankensteined it here. That's 2 pieces. But this is how it came out. Now, Monique scrapped hers up, right? So when she made her block, she used, because there's 4 prints. There's print 1, print 2, print 3, and print 4. Now, when Monique did hers, each block had 1 of each print. I decided to leave mine alone and keep them together. Also, for this little center cornerstone, or whatever you want to call it, it's not really in a corner, but I'm calling it a cornerstone. She used the binding fabric for that. Where's my binding fabric? I know it's around here somewhere. So she used that. She used this, which is for our binding, in these little center squares, these little accent squares. Since I was leaving my entire thing alone and keeping everything together, and there was enough fabric to do so, I made that match. So this is what mine looks like. So this is great. The blues are definitely going to match my home, which is nice. I have not completed the quilting on this yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it today or not. I'm probably not. I'm probably not going to sew it all today. What I'll probably do today is pick my next project. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend some time looking through my patterns and pick a project. It's probably what I'm going to do today. I did do a little bit of quilting on it. It's not completely quilted. I just did a little bit just because the batting was Frankensteined. And I didn't want it shifting or moving. This was iron-on batting, or fusible batting. That's fusible. This is fusible batting. And so even though it was fused, I still was concerned that it might shift. So I just did some, general lines to kind of keep things together for now until I can go ahead and get the whole thing quilted. I'll probably do the quilting on Thursday. Thursday is Juneteenth, and it is a holiday at my job. We get that day off because it's a federal holiday, and I work for a bank. So I get all the bank holidays. The best part about working for a bank is all the daggone bank holidays. Like, there's only I think 2 months out of the year where there's no holiday. Like, let me think. Is it June? No. Is it May? No, because we got Memorial. April. I think April and August. Because we got October, I think it's just April and August. Those are the only 2 days there's no holiday. So I'm probably going to, I don't know. Thursday, I definitely have off Thursday. And so I think I'm going to finish those projects on Thursday. I think Thursday, I think I just want to have everything kind of lined up and ready to go. So I think I want to have a full 8-hour sew day on Thursday. I think that would be fun. So I'm going to do that. Since I'm off work, I'm just going to do the full 8 hours. I'm going to quilt like it's my job. I think I'm going to make a video about it. I've been thinking about making this video for quite some time. There was a video that came on that I saw on YouTube. I think it was before the New Year. It was before the New Year's last year. And the video was, she said she was going to crochet like it was her job. So she was going to take like full 8-hour day and crochet like it was her job. And she did a video about it. And I thought it was incredibly cute. And I think that might be neat. I think I want to crochet like it's my job. So I think I'm going to set aside some projects like these, right? Because these are very defined things here, right? This needs to be trimmed. Binding needs to be ironed, cut, and this can be bound. This needs to be, I need to complete the quilting, cut and iron the binding, or iron and cut the binding, trim it, bind it. And then if I have the new project that I've got going on, I didn't show you guys the backs. So for this, I used this. This is an OG piece of fabric I got from Joann's. A long time ago when I wasn't really quilting much, but I would buy fabric every once in a while. And I was in Joann's and I wanted to make a log cabin quilt. And I've always liked purple and green. And so I had picked out some purples and some greens and I was going to make a log cabin quilt. It never happened. It never happened. I never put that sucker together because that was at a time when I didn't have a lot of time to sew. And then I realized how long that project was going to take me to do to make that log cabin. Like they didn't have any of the specialty rulers out then or anything like that. And I was like, no. But it's nice to be able to use like a piece of fabric that's old. Like I've had that piece of fabric for over 10 years. I don't know how long over, but over 10 years. Because I've been in this house since 2015 and I'm pretty sure I owned that fabric before I moved here. So R.I.P. Joanne. And then this, for this quilt here, for this table runner here, I used this piece of boundless fabric that I had. Boundless was sold by Blueprint before they became Craftsy again. So I've had this piece probably since 2019. So yeah, it felt good to use up some old fabric. I do miss Boundless though, but I'm kind of glad they're not around because I spent a lot of money on Boundless fabric. That's what really got me into buying fabric. Because I wanted the quilt shop quality fabric. I wanted the fat quarters and the pre-cuts. I wanted that stuff. But it was expensive. It was like $35, $40. That's a lot. But you go on Blueprint and you can get a layer cake for $22, $18. Fat quarter bundle at $2 a fat quarter. I racked up. I built my collection on Boundless. And I never noticed any difference between it and any other quilt shop quality fabric. Sometimes with the Joanne stuff, there is a difference. not all of it, but some of it, there is a difference. It might be thinner, like this here. It's thinner. It's thinner than regular quilt shop quality fabric. You can almost see through it. But not all Joanne fabric was like that. But the Boundless, I couldn't tell any difference between Boundless and Moda. It was no difference to me. Yeah. So I'm going to work on that this weekend. And then also, I'm not this weekend, on Thursday, since I'm off. And then also what I'm going to do is, I don't know. Maybe I will do whips, because I have whips that are, all the blocks are done. Just the blocks need to be put into rows, and the rows need to be sewn, and then the rows sewn together. So I don't know. I don't know. I haven't decided. But that's my crochet world and what I've been working on. My quilting. Now my crochet, I'm almost done with this puppy. It felt so good to use up this yarn. Most of this stuff I had anywhere from 1 to 3 skeins, and each skein was only 150 yards at max. So I didn't know what I was going to do with all of this. So it just feels really nice to get this out of my stash. I cannot tell you. I do wish, so this was this was all from like a Darn Good Yarn subscription and editor boxes that I had purchased over the years. So this is yarn I've been collecting for years. And this is what it's looking like. I do wish, because this orange yarn is a DK weight. The rest of this is all sport weight. But this particular orange is DK weight, so it's a little thicker. So I wish I had paired everything with a different color. And what I mean is I did this holding 2 strands together. So for this first stripe, I held 2 strands of the exact same yarn together. For this stripe, I held 2 strands of the exact same yarn together called hot air balloon. For this stripe, I held 2 strands together of the same yarn. And then I did the same thing for this stripe here, this orange. I'm wishing I hadn't done that. For all the other stripes, I held 2 completely different skeins together. And I actually like how it came out. Well, how it's coming out. It's just really colorful. I mean, unfortunately, it's all like silk, recycled silk. So it's not it's not machine washable, but I'll be machine washing it. It's going right in the washing machine. This might end up being like a work blanket. I think I might just wash this, bring it to work, and keep it, locked up in my locker. Because it's like the right size for that. And then it won't get dirty. Because it won't get used that much. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. The wheels on my chair always end up rolling over my projects. So all I have left of this is these 2 skeins. These are the exact same yarn. And I kept it that way even because I started that way. So since the first stripe is green and it's the same 2, it's like purple and green and it's the same 2 held together, I'm ending it with purple and green and the same 2 held together. I get about 6 stripes out of this. Yeah, 6, maybe 7 at the most. Each stripe or each row, sorry, I take it back. I get 7 rows. I'll get 6 or 7 rows out of this. And each row takes me about 15 minutes to crochet. So I'm going to pop this on my hook tonight and work on this. So we're talking about an hour and a half. So ideally, I'd like to get this done tonight. If I don't, that's fine. I'm unraveling here. Yeah. It's like the coat of many colors. I love it. So I was working on that. That's been fun. And that's pretty much the only thing I've been working on. I've been trying to just get that done. And the reason being is that if y'all remember or don't remember, but I have that 6-pointed star blanket or 7-pointed star blanket that I got frustrated with, that I put aside. And it's been a while now. It's been weeks. And I'm actually really kind of anxious to get back to that. Like my desire to work on that star crochet project is really hitting me hard, right? And I keep it in eyesight at all times. It's right here. I keep it with me, but I don't allow myself to work on it. I just look at it, and it's made me miss it. I miss it. I want to work on again. Work on it again. I want to get it done. I want to finish it. I want to get back to it. And so it's just creating an excitement. I also started a new crochet project, but this is only supposed to be for when I'm crocheting with Katie, the Greenland quilter. But I started this little project here. It's called the Sweet Pea Blanket. I have 12. I originally chose 15 colors, but I'm only going to be using 12 of them. Oh, shoot. My stitches are pulling out. I'll need to secure that. This is what it's looking like so far. The math on this took quite some time. I've definitely spent more time. I spent more time calculating and writing and figuring than I have actually crocheting. I will say that. Because I didn't use the yarn that the pattern designer used, and I needed to make sure I was going to have enough yarn. So there was a lot of weighing and measuring and stuff like that to make it work. But it's cute. My next color will be the purple. Once I'm done rotating the two greens, I'll be moving on to the purple. But yeah, that's fun. But that's just for that. That's just for that. For when, and we just do that once a month. Once a month, we'll just get on and do some crocheting. And this is going to be just the project that I work on when we do that. I don't really intend to work on this at any other time. So I need to put that in something else, in some other bag. I need to give it like its own home. I think I'm going to put it like in like one of those bags you get kits in, like this. I'll probably pop it in one of these instead of the bag it's in now. Okay. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. That's what I've been working on. I'm anxious. I'm anxious. I do I need to get to Lowe's. My blanket, not my blanket, my table's sagging a little bit. I've got way too much weight on on this table. It was not designed to hold all this weight. So, I did do a little bit of cleanup. I'm not done, but I did do a little bit of cleanup, and that always helps improve my mood too. When I clear my space and I'm not so crowded, it does help. It does help with my disposition. But I need to do a little bit more on that too, but I think for tonight, I am going to pick a project that I want to work on, and it's gonna have some kind of plan. I'm gonna have some kind of plan. I don't think that I'll be working on my project on my 8-hour so day. My 8 hours, so like it's my job day. I don't think I'll be working on the new project. I think for that's going to be like a finish up day. And so that's why I'm going to work on these two things here. And then I might put some rows together, like, because that's one of the things I don't like. Like, I like making blocks. I like making blocks. Sewing the blocks into rows and sewing the rows together into a quilt top. Not so much, because things get big. Like, it's big. That's why I've been really, really, really enjoying the table toppers and the table runners, because I get to do all of the stuff I like to do in quilting, but I don't have to deal with anything big. Like, that's the part. And I pretty much exclusively did blankets from 2017, 2018 till last year. I pretty much exclusively did blankets. So, I mean, I did other like little projects, like the tissue holders I made and the keychains that I made and stuff like that. But for the most part, I exclusively made large quilts, and I got a little burnout. So I'm happy now. I am grateful. I am grateful that my sojo seems to be coming back, and I want to feed that by giving it something it wants, something it's been wanting to do for a while. So yeah, I'm going to take an hour, go through my projects, pick something out, and then I'll just take it from there. But that's just 40 minutes of me just running my damn mouth. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting back into quilting a little bit more. I am starting to miss it. I'm starting to miss it. Just like I'm starting to miss that star blanket. I am starting to miss my quilting. I'm starting to miss, putting together a blanket. So we'll see. We'll see what I come up with. I'll share it with you guys when I figure it out. But from here on out, just look for my videos to drop sporadically. I'll try not to make them so long now that I know that I can just come on here anytime and make a video if I feel like it, and I don't have to like save everything up for Thursday. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait to see what I end up picking. Like, do I want to like use one of my patterns like that I purchased, or like do I want to get a kit? Like, do I want to get a kit down? I don't know. I need to get rid of some of my quilt kits, but that's for another story and another day. That's it for me, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one, hopefully Thursday, when I do my quilt like it's my job video. But again, that's it for me. Hasta la bye-bye.